Hello, my name is Tolu Asubiaro. I am a PhD student at the Library and Information Science program of the University of Western Ontario. And this afternoon, I'll be talking about opaqueness in recommender systems. Of course, I'll just be mentioning two popular recommender systems, and some of the observations in research about the results from these recommender systems. Recommender systems are artificially intelligent systems that recommend or suggest content on content information systems. I mean, in some information systems that have lots and lots of content, or that or sometimes the subjects suggest items on e-commerce websites. For instance, on YouTube, there are probably billions of videos. There is a recommender system that suggests or recommends videos to users. Uh, Another example is Amazon, which is an e-commerce website. There is a recommender system that recommends um, items to users of Amazon. Well, these are just two examples. There are other examples of recommender system. Of course, another one is Facebook. And another system that has a recommender system is Facebook. Recommender system on Facebook recommends content, friends, groups to users of Facebook. Now, as I've said, they are meant to, help users, discover items they might not have thought about, uh, help users, to sort through millions and billions of items. Apart from that, they are meant to actually reduce information overload. But let's look at what let's look at the reality. Well, I've actually spoken about the expectations. I mean, what is expected of recommender systems? The expected, yes, the expected. Now, but what is the reality? I will be talking about two popular recommender systems, that of Facebook and YouTube, and how they either keep uh, users further in the rabbit hole, or they actually push users into the rabbit hole. Well, one of the sources of opaqueness in YouTube recommender systems is the data source. This quote is actually from a study by Abufutu et al. To 2020, and it was specifically mentioned that because of the proprietary nature of YouTube, the actual mechanism behind YouTube's recommender algorithm is unknown. Uh, this is despite the fact that many papers has been published by Google, I mean scholars from Google, about YouTube's recommender systems. And I'm going to, specifically read an extract from one of the papers from scholars from Google. Now, uh, Covington 26 et al. 2016 is actually one of the papers from Google, from scholars in Google Incorporation. And in this paper, it was specifically stated that we typically use hundreds of features in our ranking models, roughly split evenly between categorical and continuous data. Now, in the paper, there was a list was not given on what these hundreds of features are. So there is this opaqueness about these recommender systems. We don't know what data these corporations collect from users. There is no explanation about the data they collect from users. And according to one of the earlier speakers, she mentioned that there is a law that states that there should be form of explanations to users, especially where when data collected from them is used as part of you know system development. Now, Google and these other big tech companies actually collect data. We don't even know the data they collect, and we don't know how this data is processed. And sometimes we just get these recommendations from them, especially from YouTube, and we don't know why we are getting these results, these recommendations, that have been, proven to lead people or users to the extreme, you know. Now, studies, I'm just now I'm referring to just three studies that have actually shown that YouTube recommender system actually lead users to the extreme. One was done on vaccine. This is Abu Fatu is actually recent research on vaccine. Now, Ribeiro was done in 2019 and Tufeki was actually done in 2018. Now, these studies actually show that, YouTube recommender system lead users to extreme, but here I'm actually concentrating or talking about the opaqueness. We don't know the data. We don't know how the data is processed. We don't know why we get these recommendations. And these questions, one of the questions that arise is, are these system or is this system still reducing information overload? Well, talking about Facebook, uh, there is this opaqueness about Facebook as well. We don't know the data that is collected. Well, we have some idea of how data is processed, but there is the complex machine learning algorithm part of this that cannot be explained. And I think users actually deserve to understand the type of data that is collected from them, the extent to which this data is used, how this data is processed, and some other questions, I think users deserve to get answers to. Yeah, I want to end my talk with two quotes, one from Tufeki 2018 and the other one from the Resta 2018. According to Tufeki, YouTube leads viewers down a rabbit hole of extremism. Well, we don't know how they collect data, the type of data they collect. What we know is YouTube leads viewers down the rabbit hole of extremism. And according to the Resta 2018, rather than pulling a user out of the rabbit hole, the recommendation system, of Facebook pushes them further in. This provokes a question I think we need to ask. Are these popular recommendation systems reducing information overload, or they actually increase the problem of information overload?